Alright, today we're going to look at a strawberry team using some of the new units. Now this was recorded a month ago at the beginning of December, and it's been sitting waiting to be edited this whole time. Probably I should have recorded the commentary immediately so I could remember everything that was happening. But yeah, I guess we'll have to discover some of the twists and turns of this run as we go. So the concept for this was to have two sets of strawberries. So there are two new units. The Turaco, which is going to be the one that I'm going to use, and also the Hotsin. And the Hotsin gives trumpets in exchange for strawberries, but the Turaco gives mana. And what I want to do is have strawberry on everything. The Turaco is going to take all of the strawberries away at start of battle, and then the Hummingbird is going to give them back. Now the Hummingbird can only give up to 3 strawberries back, but that's probably going to be good enough for our purposes. Now we pick up our first mana pet here, even though we don't actually have any mana yet. However, Hummingbird is actually a very strong unit these days. Yeah, you can see we end up getting a tie here. As long as it doesn't get sniped, you know, a 3-1 stat line to get a 1-for-1 trade, and then also the +1/1 from each of the strawberries. It's just really solid. And of course you can use the standard star pack technique of buying broccoli or fried shrimp in order to build up a Hummingbird very quickly. But also just perk gain has become incredibly strong in customs. I mean, it was good before, but with the buffs to Axolotl, any way to gain perks at the start of battle is extremely good. And you can actually stack many different ways to gain perks in battle. So you can have Hummingbird, and you can have a unit at the front, like Tar or Turtle or Snapping Turtle. Then you can also have units like Budgie and Mink that automatically gain perks at start of battle, and you can have toys that give perks. So you can combo all those things together and create some pretty nasty scaling teams. But the premise here was to try and avoid that if possible. I want to have a double strawberry team where the strawberries matter. And so when we find the Turaco, and I don't know when it's going to be because I haven't watched this run for a long time, but we're going to be able to enable the Cali Greyhound, and then we're going to look for another mana spending unit. There aren't too many of them, but thankfully most of them are pretty strong. And the Turaco is going to remove all the strawberries at start of battle, give everything mana, and then the Hummingbird, as long as it has a lower attack than the Turaco, will give a new set of strawberries, so the Puffin's ability will still go off. So here on turn 7 we find the Turaco. It's kind of a funny looking sprite. It almost looks like it's dabbing. We're immediately going to feed it the milk to try and get it to a higher attack. Unfortunately, not quite there this turn. So I guess it's a 50-50 whether or not it goes before the Hummingbird. Although in this scenario it doesn't really matter because we're not actually losing out on any strawberries. So there you can see what happens. The strawberries get removed. We gain mana instead. Yeah, so I guess actually the Hummingbird did go first because we got mana on all 4 units. Yeah, we can take the Hummingbird level here and then buy the broccoli. But maybe I'm not going to do that. Okay, we'll take the apple and the broccoli, and that should make it work now the way it's intended to work. So the Turaco is going to give mana, and then we get the strawberries afterwards. So obviously we don't get mana on the middle unit, but we do get the strawberries to enable the Puffin to shoot. Now clearly gaining the mana would probably be better than enabling the Puffin, because Puffin's ability falls off pretty hard. But there's no reason you couldn't play this combo with some of the stronger strawberry abilities, like you could have Velociraptor at the back, for instance. I just have a soft spot for the Puffin. Now actually here, yeah, I guess we only get 3 strawberries from the Hummingbird, so it's not possible to give the cow a strawberry as well. I did have most of the strawberry units in the pack, so maybe there is some kind of a build where the Roadrunner is able to fill up the entire team of strawberries. I don't know, but I was finding that, yeah, I really needed the powerful mana pets for this build to have any chance, and so to that end we're going to bring in the Sea Serpent and give it a strawberry. Unfortunately, we find the strawberry jam a little bit too late. And now we'll move the Puffin to the back. I guess actually, yeah, we do want the puff and snipes to happen as soon as possible. And unfortunately here, we ended up missing out on one because the unit was sniped before the Hummingbird could reapply the strawberry. But we do win anyway. Actually, I guess Hummingbird just generally is good because it can wipe over ailments. You know, ailments are so prevalent at the moment that any way to restore perks, even if they're not particularly strong tier 1 perks, it's certainly better than having, you know, cold like we get here. In fact, I think we've got very little chance against level 2 Nyala. Yep, it's going to be a loss. I was trying to win as quickly as possible with this team. I mean, anytime you have Puffin involved, you're going to want to try and win as quickly as you can. Now, that being said, I have actually recently faced a few very strong Puffin teams in customs where they were using the racket tail. I think I did have it in this pack as well, but I didn't manage to get any runs with it. And I guess partly that's also because here I was deliberately going for a full team of strawberries. So normally you would put pineapple on Puffin, or I guess you could also put the new Kiwano perk to increase its damage. And of course you can also play Albatross, but for this particular build we just didn't have the space in the team. So I'm just going to keep buying food, try and keep these units alive. Unfortunately, we end up facing Ostrich Behemoth here. I don't know if the Sea Serpent damage is going to be enough. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, maybe we did remove one of the lizard spawns there, so we do actually end up getting a tie. I think I was very lucky to get a tie there. Cali Greyhound still extremely strong. And we race to a level 3 Sea Serpent. So I think at level 2, the Turaco only gives 8 mana, is it? Yeah, and again here, ailments, it's actually the same person twice in a row. And both games they're playing Hamster Behemoth with a massive wide scaler like Bird of Paradise and Ostrich. And that time they did manage to get me. So that puts us down to 1 heart. I really did want to get level 3 Turaco in this as well. It would be great to have churros on the Turaco as well to make sure that we get all the mana in case anything gets sniped. But I was also committing to going for the full strawberry team. I'm sure I must have done that before in Star Pack, but I don't remember ever doing it in customs. And that particular round, it actually looked like we were done for, but I think the Sea Serpent and Cali Greyhound really came in clutch. Of course, the Cali is going to reduce the stats on 2 units, and then the Sea Serpent is likely to target all the other units on the opposing team. So there we reduce the monkey. Actually, I guess Sea Serpent now these days hits 4 units instead of 3. It just doesn't do as much damage. So yeah, it's guaranteed at level 3 to hit one of the units that the Cali Greyhound reduced. So 9 wins, turn 17, we just buy the food of desperation, hoping that somehow our Puffin team can win. And it somehow digs up this Behemoth team. It's so rare to see a team like this on turn 17, where basically everything has been invested into the Behemoth and they've got nothing else going on whatsoever. Maybe this was an achievement run for the Sea Urchin, but in the end we managed to scrape the win. We unlock our Turaco ribbon, and I was pretty pleased with that all strawberry team. There's so much new stuff you can do with strawberry. I'm sure we'll come back to it in a future video.